Thank you, but you really don't have anything to apologize for. Sammy Sosa was one of my favorite players in my childhood, and at his peak, he was one of the best. But unfortunately, he comes from a generation of players that the game refuses to celebrate. So let's talk about the hypocrisy of it all. First, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that the Cubs ownership wanted an apology from him about his There was no penalty for positive tests back then anyway. So Major League Baseball wasn't even making a big effort to get it out of the game. Because interestingly enough, while he was hitting 60 home runs a season, the Cubs would happily take in all those ticket sales. In fact, at the time, he was one of the most celebrated players in Major League Baseball. And there was no issue at the time. He was a baseball hero. If he would have been the guy to break Roger Maris's home run record, everyone would have been okay with it. It wasn't until later in the 2000s where everyone decided that the PED era wasn't good for the game. Look, I agree. I don't think it was good for the game in a lot of ways. However, we cannot deny the fact that it made the game more popular again, and that the Chicago Cubs made a whole lot of money because of Sammy Sosa. Major League Baseball has wanted nothing to do with him, especially the Cubs, for nearly 20 years now. Despite definitely having the numbers, he got absolutely no consideration for the Hall of Fame. We could say what we want from the players of the era, but they were definitely a massive part of baseball history. So for the Cubs to celebrate him so much at the time, and then totally cast him aside, demanding an apology, is absolute hypocrisy. And on top of all that, I actually do give him kudos for admitting to it, because so few of the great players from that era actually have. And while he didn't need to say anything, I do think the fact that he did is respectable. And I'm at least glad the Cubs are going to invite him back, though I think it was the bare minimum. Now, please, put the best players from that era in the Hall of Fame.